Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Weichelt with EXP for another episode of Weichelt Wednesday. This interview is no different. This is a really good buddy of mine, Ian Flannigan, out of Tejas, Texas. And here we are. Let's just dive right into it. Ian, what's going on? Who's Ian Flannigan?
Man, I'm a husband and daddy. I live in Plano, Texas. It's a suburb north of downtown Dallas. It's a booming, thriving area. There's corporate companies moving here from all around the planet. We got Toyota down the street. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's multi-billion-dollar developments on every corner, it seems like. We got Jerry World. I don't know if you guys are Cowboys fans. I know you might be a Raider or a Charger fan, but I was born in Dallas, or actually I was born in California, raised in Texas, but born into a Cowboy family. So real estate is booming and thriving here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I tell you, I get a lot of friends of mine, a lot of clients moving to Texas, all around your great state. And I tell you, you've got some great politics, but we won't dive into that right now because this is a real estate show. So what I want to do is I want to ask you, because you've been in the business a long time, you've got a great story, share with us how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, gosh, it's interesting. I cut my teeth in the hairdressing industry. That was my first career kind of after college in my 20s of, what do they call it? Getting your shit together. So hairdressing is really what did it for me. I built a great business. I was booked. I made piles of money. But one thing that I noticed about some of my clients were the people that were real estate entrepreneurs lived a different lifestyle. And after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the early 2000s, I realized I'd been an employee and I was self-employed. And that thought or dream of, building a business that you can step away from that still generates income without actually you not trading the dollars for the hours is what I've been, I guess, chasing for years and building. But I cut my teeth in the investing side of the business. So rehabbing, raising capital, flipping properties, started with wholesaling, this was, a decade and a half ago. Then we moved into seller financing, and I bought, renovated, and sold over 100 homes before I ever got a real estate license. So it was more of a shift and a pivot for me because being in business from 2009 to 2016, the market was hot. But obviously in 2009, what you could buy a property for was a lot different than 2016. So we had a really good run. Our margins got turned upside down as the market took off. We couldn't buy as deep as a discount. And that really changed everything for us. So we sold our entire portfolio of notes and rentals and all that stuff. And I said, okay, what's next? This was 2016, 17. So I got a real estate license and enter EXP Realty. So that's kind of where I cut my teeth. I skipped over a whole part of building a coaching business. We used to do bus tours and travel around the country and teach people how to raise capital and buy properties and renovate them and exit out of them. So we did that for some years and we ended up winding that company down too. But it's been an amazing journey and I'm still learning something new every single day.
You know what? You certainly have a interesting background. I always look at your hair is always looking so good. And now I know why you were in that space. So that's awesome, man. You've got such a great background. What did we see in 22 in terms of the real estate market there where you're at?
I mean, I think everybody felt it. It was a correction. Interest rates doubled and it squeezed out some buyers. The year before in 21, it was the people that had cash were winning, right? And I even said this to my wife today, whoever stacks the most money on the table wins.
Yeah.
It's a simple equation. So now being a little bit more strategic, I represent a hedge fund here locally. And last year we were getting beat up by getting, outbid. And this year they changed their, every quarter they reevaluate the portfolio and their acquisition strategy. So whenever they want to get a higher net yield, that means that their offer price goes backwards.
Sure.
So, 60,000 under ask, 100,000 under ask. We just lost one this week. We bid $4,500 under ask and didn't win the bid. So we're seeing a lot of different things happening there. But people that have capital, they're buying.
Yeah.
So my network are investors and we're building apartment complexes, and that's a whole thriving industry, which we won't cover on this call. But, the retail people, the first time home buyers, they got squeezed out. They got squeezed out last year because they couldn't compete. And now they're getting squeezed out because they can't afford.
Yeah.
So it's just a correction in the market, right? I mean, hopefully interest rates will come back down. But it's been kind of a cleansing, so to say.
Amen to that. Well, I think we've all experienced a shift. It's still going on. It's still happening. And so with that said, what are we saying to the agents to prepare? And what are you going to do to make 23 the best year ever?
This has been a hot topic for months now. Ever since July is when we noticed, I think everybody noticed, especially we have a pulse on the industry, is July is when it happened. And even last night we had a team get together and we were all giving, at the very end of our call, it was like, Kimberly, what's your takeaway for 2023? What would you advise people to do? And it, that we were kind of going around and all giving our 2 cents. And then my 2 cents was double down on relationships. Go deeper with relationships. Go into your database and go deep with those relationships, because that is where you're going to continue to receive referrals. Right? This top producers sound like a damn broken record. How they built their business. I built my business through referral. So why is that so difficult for agents to understand? I don't know. Because the ones that make it through the cycles are the ones that build a huge network and nurture that network. And that translates to a lot of different industries too.
Yeah. And you know what? You hit the nail on the head. And I always hear the cliche of what's a good CRM? The one you use.
The one you use. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to follow up with your people that know, love, and trust you first, and then expand that and build that database. So that's a huge thing. So, what's the message we want to say, in closing? What do we want to say to an agent that's tuning into this? This is my message from Ian Flannigan.
Man, there's so many things to say. I mean, number one, like right now business is doubling down on relationships. Find some investors, find an iBuyer. I think Open Door even does, agent partnerships and stuff like that. But, I mean, you got EXP back there on the background. We have our license with EXP. Let me share a little story with you real quick. So over the last several years, I've taken advantage of the compensation plan at EXP Realty. I ran my numbers today, Robert. My organization and network closed 5,009 properties this year.
Woo!
Just this year alone.
That's awesome.
I got paid on 5,000 transactions. This is something that I've been building for several years now. So when the market dipped and production slammed, I had a massive business already built, right? It's similar to being an owner in a franchise system, Keller, Century, Remax. Those royalties that are coming off of the top of your commissions, that 3, 5, 7, Berkshire Hathaway has a 7% royalty that never goes away.
Uh-huh.
Every transaction that's processed, 7% is going to the owners. That's what we built. That's what you built. That's what a lot of my counterparts and people have built at EXP. So when the production goes down, we've built a leveraged income that continues to pump regardless if I sell or not.
Yeah.
So I've had an amazing year. I had a great month. So you just have to take a step back and realize there are vehicles out there, right? Like self-directed Roth IRAs where you can invest tax-free, right? You have to seek information and then implement. So that's what I did with EXP Realty. And I just wanted to share that because there's a lot of people that and I know that are making more money now and they don't sell real estate because they built a network of agents that sell. So that's more of a long-term play. And I'm reaping the benefits of that decision that I made several years ago today. So you guys can draw a line in the sand and say, I never want a roller coaster income ever again. So you can choose to build a business or build assets or whatever the case may be. So that's just something I want to share with everybody because it's real and we're experiencing it. The company's sharing 50% of company dollar across the board. $157 million has been paid out to the agents in the last several years, which is unheard of.
Those are some big numbers, man. We've got some great stuff going on. I tell you, that's why I'm so pumped up. 37 years in the business. I've trained, coached, and mentored agents across the country. And the one thing that's constant is the agents want to do more business. They just don't know the systems to plug into. So we've just identified a system that they could plug into. So
it's a massive vehicle. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time, right? The stock got me into the multifamily game. I didn't do anything different. I just hung my license at a different company that offered a different type of compensation, and we just focused on it for over time. So back to that initial question, what can agents do? Find cash buyers, find iBuyers, double down on your relationships, and always take the meeting. Seek information. I mean, real estate is an abundant industry, and the people that I know that are crushing it are absolutely effing crushing it. Like printing stacks of millions on top of each other over and over and over. And then there's a lot of agents that are trying to figure out, that are whining about how they don't have a commission check coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down to relationships. Relationships. We can say that till we're blue in the face. And then also opportunity. Like when you can connect with an opportunity with a vision, build it, go for it. It could be solar, right? It could be putting solar on houses, build a team of people that sell solar and you could crush it. There's so many different ways to crush it in real estate. But if you're going to continue to sell real estate, then you should build a team of people that sell real estate. Yep. And then build systems around that. So over time, you can get compensated on transactions that you're not involved in. Right? Think about this, Robert. I'll leave this with you and we can get out of here because we can talk about this all damn day long. I have leveraged the EXP platform. I'm actually on a production team with Jeff and Amanda Whitespear out of Houston, Texas. They're going to sell over 700 homes this year in Texas alone. I'm one of their agents here in Dallas. So I'm buying and selling houses that I never see. I don't even go into the houses that I write the contracts on, Robert. And I'm getting paid on transactions. I don't even know who the agents are or even where the houses are. How the hell do you tell that story? So
that is awesome.
I've closed 38 transactions this year personally, where I wrote the contracts and closed them. My network of agents have closed 5,000 transactions. So going into next year, I'm probably guessing we're going to close 7,000 transactions. I may not sell as many houses, but this opportunity is available for any real estate agent. So if you're watching this and you're not where you want to be and you've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years, right? There isn't anybody coming to save you, but there is things available for you that can help you.
Well, amen to that. I tell you, you know what? I'm sitting here. I stopped being the one interviewing and just sitting there taking notes. I mean, you're just dropping some good bombs on us, brother. This is awesome.
I mean, it's just business. It's either get to work and build a business or make an excuse of why you don't have money coming in from escrows. I don't know, man. There's just, like I said, if you decide that you want to stay in the industry, you've got to get better. Yeah. You've got to evolve and get better. The system's got to get better. The business model has to get better. You have to evolve. So that's the thing that's helped me through the shifting markets, is making pivots and taking chances, right? Because we can't predict tomorrow. And here's another thing too. What I've built at EXP Realty is a legacy for my family. So this revenue stream that I've built, I'm an owner in the company, and I get a small override whenever agents close deals, like franchise owners and other business models. When I pass away, my wife retains that. And then if she passes away, my daughter retains that. So we're talking multi-generational type of wealth building alongside selling real estate, because you can sell real estate anywhere. Flat fee shop, Century, Real, you just name it, right? And then we got all these copycats that are, the cloud-based thing is real now. COVID showed us that. So anyway, you've got to plug into vehicles that can help get you where you want to go.
Well, you know what you said, my slogan that I'm going to start picking up is getting better in 23. That's the goal. It's always constant and never ending improvement.
I know I've learned so much in especially the last few years. I've learned so much and I continue to learn, and I absorb as much information as I can. I'm listening to audiobooks when I'm not on calls or with my family. It's just this constant input of information. And then I have to decide, okay, how can I take those nuggets and implement it in my business today to get the result we want tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? So we've got to get better.
Yeah.
In all aspects of our lives. So if you are a real estate entrepreneur, you know the game.
Amen
right? Self-development,
brother.
right?
Amen.
Your daily habits will get you where you want to go. So going deeper into your relationships, pull your phone up, call people, set appointments, figure out ways that you can help them, donate your time, donate your capital, really make an impact, right? I was sitting down with a new agent and we were talking about old school tactics, new school marketing and stuff like that. And, he's doing really great. And I said, you know what, how are you dripping on your database? Oh, he's telling me all this stuff. I said, well, are you doing any, handwritten cards or anything like that? He's like, no, that's stupid. I said, you're missing the point. The reason why you do a handwritten card, because it's the way that the person feels when they see it. It's not about me. It's not about, oh, this doesn't work. It's about how it makes them feel. Right? When you do something special for somebody, a thank you, but more of you went out of your time to write thank you. I appreciate our friendship, and they open it up and see that. It's the way that it makes people feel. So when you make people feel good and you're top of mind, whenever they come across somebody that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, who are they going to refer? They're either going to say, I don't know, or you've got to call Robert. He's amazing, because you've struck a chord with how that person feels. So that's doubling down on relationships.
I love it, dude. We literally could go on for a couple of hours, but we both have stuff to do. But I can tell you this: I want to circle back with you and talk more about the apartment buildings and that space, and maybe spend a little time on just that area. But for now, Ian, thank you so much for being my guest today, and just absolutely amazing. You're a rock star. So this is Robert Weichelt with EXP for another episode of Weichelt Wednesday. Thank you, Ian Flannigan, for being my guest today.
You got it, buddy.